My name is Emil Novak, and I learned English in just 3 months without teachers, without courses, just me, a cheap phone, and a dream. Today I live in the United States. I work at a company I once thought was only for rich people. I speak English. Every day I have friends here, and the girl I love, she is from Chicago, and she's the reason I started learning. But 3 months ago, I was living in a small town in Eastern Europe. I had no money, I didn't speak English, I had nothing except a big dream and one reason, to be with her. So I made a promise to myself. 90 days, no excuses, every single day I would live in English. I didn't have lessons or school, I just used podcasts, subtitles, YouTube, books, and hours of practice until the words started to feel like mine. I wrote down every word I didn't know. I listened to slow English. I repeated every sentence. I made English part of my world. It was hard, and I wanted to quit many times, but something changed. English stopped being something I had to learn. It became my new life, and this is how it happened. Chapter 1. The First Step. The next morning I woke up at 6 a.m. My head was heavy. I wanted to sleep more. I wanted to forget about everything. But then I saw the message on my phone. Good morning. It was from Lily. She was the reason I started this journey. I met Lily at a youth conference in Prague. It was for young people from different countries. I didn't want to go, but my friend pushed me to join. I said yes without thinking. I had no idea. That one small trip would change my life. She was from Chicago. Her English was fast, full of jokes and confidence. She had blue eyes, long blonde hair, and a smile that made you forget the world. But it wasn't just her looks. She was curious. She asked me questions, real questions. She listened. I could only answer with simple words. My English was bad, but I could feel something special when I looked at her. I told myself, if I ever want a real chance to talk to her, to understand her, I need to learn English. That morning, her message reminded me why I started. I looked at my phone screen. Then I made a decision. I deleted TikTok. I deleted Instagram. I turned off everything that wasted my time. Then I opened YouTube and searched how to learn English fast. I found a video about learning English with no money. The guy said, "Use what you have. Every second is a chance." That hit me. I didn't have money. I didn't have a teacher. But I had time, and I had a reason. I made a plan on paper, listened to English every morning, learned 10 new words every day, speak to myself in English out loud, watch English videos with subtitles, no excuses, no breaks. I walked to the local market with headphones. I played an English podcast called Simple Stories. It was for beginners. I didn't understand most of it, but I kept listening. I didn't stop. At lunch, I watched a cartoon on YouTube. The voices were slow and friendly. I copied what they said. I paused the video. I repeated the words. My voice sounded strange, but I didn't care. That night, I sat at my small kitchen table. I wrote in my notebook. Day 1. I feel slow. I feel confused. But I also feel something new. I feel hungry for change. And before I went to bed, I sent Lily a message. "I'm learning English, for real this time." She replied, "I believe in you." Chapter 2. The Wall. After. The first week, my motivation was high. Every morning I listened to English. I learned new words. I watched cartoons and short interviews. I even talked to myself while walking home from work. But by the middle of the second week, something changed. I woke up late. I was tired. My brain didn't want to work. The words stopped making sense. Podcasts sounded too fast. Grammar rules felt like a puzzle with missing pieces. At lunch, I opened my notebook and looked at the words I had written. Excited, proud, believe. But I didn't feel any of those things. I felt stuck. I opened a video in English. I didn't understand the first 10 seconds. I closed it. I tried to read an article. I gave up after one paragraph. A voice in my head started to whisper, "This is too hard. You are not smart enough. Why even try?" That was the wall. Every person who learns something new hits it. A moment when the fun disappears and the mountain looks too high. That night, I didn't do anything in English. I just lay in bed and scrolled on my phone. For the first time since I started, I didn't fight. But just before I fell asleep, I opened Lily's last message again. I believe in you. It was short, simple, but it felt like a light in a dark room. The next morning, I woke up early. I made coffee. I sat down. I opened a podcast called English with Anna. It was for beginners. Slow, clear, kind. I understood maybe 50%, but I listened to the whole episode. Then I opened YouTube and searched. Why learning a language is hard. The first video said, if you feel stupid, that means you're doing it right. Learning means failing, again and again. I smiled. I opened my notebook and wrote, Day 12. Today I hit the wall, but I didn't stop. I won. Chapter 3. Breakthrough. One morning in the third week, something strange happened. I was brushing my teeth and thinking about my day. Suddenly I realized I was thinking in English. It wasn't perfect. It was simple. Today I go to work. Then I listen. I want to learn more. But it was in English, not my native language. I stopped. I looked in the mirror, and I smiled. After that, things changed. I didn't need to translate every word in my head. I started to feel the language, not just study it. At work, I looked at the tools and said their names in English. Hammer, screwdriver, ladder. In the evening, I watched short interviews with English subtitles. I paused every time I didn't understand. I repeated the sentence. I wrote it down, then I read it again and again. When I walked through the city, I imagined talking to people in English. I built fake conversations in my head. Sometimes I even whispered them out loud. At the gym, I watched English workout videos. The trainers spoke fast, but their energy helped me stay focused. I didn't understand every word, but I understood the meaning. That was new. One day, Lily sent me a voice message. I usually waited and translated everything, but this time, I listened, and I understood almost everything. She said, "I'm proud of you. You're really doing it." I almost cried. That night, I wrote Day 21. I still make mistakes, but now I think in English. I feel something new. I feel close. Chapter 4. The Obsession. By the end of the first month, English was no longer just a goal. It became an obsession. I started changing everything around me. My phone was now in English. My YouTube, Netflix, even my alarm clock. Every app, every button, every setting. At breakfast, I listened to English news. At work, I repeated new words in my head. Focus, strength, discipline. During breaks, I read short articles on websites like VOA Learning English. I highlighted new words. I repeated them out loud like a kid learning to speak. At night, I started watching full movies with English subtitles. First, I watched simple ones, cartoons, romance films, slow dialogues. Then I tried action movies. At first, it was hard. The characters spoke too fast, but I pressed pause. I wrote down sentences. I read the subtitles. I listened again. Over time, I started hearing full phrases, not just words. I got your back. Let's make this work. You're stronger than you think. Those phrases stuck in my mind. I started using them in my fake conversations. I even spoke to my mirror. One time, my neighbor heard me through the wall. He knocked and said, "Are you okay?" I laughed. I didn't care. I was not embarrassed. I was becoming someone new. One night I dreamed in English. That dream changed everything. In the dream, I was talking to Lily. No translator, no stress, just a real conversation. Her voice was clear. My voice was confident. When I woke up, I felt proud. I opened my notebook and wrote, Day 34. English is not a language anymore. It's a part of me now. I think it. I feel it. I dream it. Chapter 5. First real conversation. It was a Friday evening. I was home after work. My hands were dirty. My body was tired, but my mind was alive. I was watching a video called How to Be Confident in English. The speaker said, "You don't need to speak perfect English, you just need to speak." Then my phone buzzed. It was Lily. "Want to talk on a video call?" she wrote. My heart jumped. Before we only sent messages. She once called me, but I didn't answer. I was afraid. I thought I needed to be perfect. But now, I was ready. I washed my face. I took a deep breath. I pressed the button. The screen lit up. Her face appeared, bright eyes, warm smile. "Hi, Emile," she said. And for the first time, I answered without fear. "Hi, Lily. It's good to see you. We talked for 30 minutes, maybe more. We laughed. I told her about my town, my job, my dream to come to the U.S. She told me about Chicago, about her dog, about her favorite food, tacos. I made some mistakes. I forgot a few words. But I didn't stop. She smiled and said, "Your English is really good now. I'm impressed." That one sentence meant the world to me. I ended the call and just sat in silence. Not because I was tired, but because I felt something new. I believed in myself. That night I wrote Day 47. Today I spoke English for real. With someone I care about. I felt free. I felt strong. I'm not the same person anymore. Chapter 6. The final stretch month 3 had begun. My English was better. My confidence was stronger. But I knew something was still missing. I could speak. I could understand. But I was still thinking too much. Translating in my head, checking grammar, worrying about being wrong. So I made a new goal, live in English. Every minute, every hour, every day. I started writing a daily journal only in English. I described my day, my thoughts, my plans, no translations, no checking for mistakes, just real, raw English. I joined English-speaking groups online. I talked to strangers from the UK, Canada, India. Every evening, I joined one free Zoom call with people learning English. Some were worse than me, some were better. But we all tried. At work, I asked my boss if I could label all tools in English. He laughed but said yes. I started calling everything by its English name: wrench, bolt, tape, level. At home, I started dreaming bigger. One night, I searched online for work programs in the USA. I found one. It was for construction workers with basic English. They needed people fast. I applied. I also wrote a short cover letter in English. Simple. Honest. 2 weeks later, I got a reply. Interview on Zoom. Next Friday. I felt nervous, but I also felt ready. Lily helped me prepare. She sent me common interview questions. We practiced together. She corrected my answers. She said, "You sound like someone who belongs here." The night before the interview, I looked at my journal. So many pages, so many words. 3 months ago, I could barely say hello. Now I was applying for a job in another country, in English. Closed the journal and wrote, Day 82. This is no longer about language. This is about life, my life, and I'm taking it into my own hands. Chapter 7. The Call Friday Morning. 8:55 a.m. I sat at the kitchen table. My laptop was open. My hands were shaking a little. I took a deep breath. 5 minutes until the interview. I checked my notebook one last time. I read the questions Lily gave me. Tell me about yourself. Why do you want this job? What are your strengths? My answers were not perfect, but they were mine. A.M. The screen changed. The video call started. A man appeared. He wore a blue shirt. His voice was deep and friendly. "Hello, Emile. Can you hear me?" "Yes, I can," I said. "Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity." We talked for 15 minutes. He asked me about my work. I told him I worked in construction for 5 years. I explained what I do every day. I used all the words I had practiced: teamwork, tools, responsibility. Then he asked, "Why do you want to come to the U.S.?" I looked straight into the camera and said, "I want a new challenge. I want to grow. And I want to speak English every day. Not just to survive, but to belong." There was a short pause. Then he smiled. "Thank you, Emile. We'll be in touch soon." The call ended. I closed the laptop. My heart was racing, but I was proud. So proud. That evening, I went for a walk. I didn't listen to music. I didn't translate anything. I just walked and thought in English. The next morning, I got the email. Subject: "Welcome to the team." I stared at the screen. Then I laughed. Then I cried. After 3 months, the dream was no longer a dream. It was real. That night, I wrote in my journal, Day 90. I did it. Not because I'm smart, not because I had help. I did it because I showed up every day with a reason, with a heart on fire. Epilogue 1 year later. I walked the streets of New York with coffee in one hand and my work bag in the other. People talk around me. Taxi horns, street music, life in motion, and I understand everything. Sometimes I stop and think. Just 12 months ago, I couldn't even order a sandwich in English. Now I work in a real company. I have teammates from different countries. We joke, we argue, we build things together. In English. On weekends, I explore the city. I go to bookstores, meet new people, and sometimes even help others learn English, too. And yes, I still talk to Lily. We're closer than ever. Maybe this story started because of her, but I finished it for myself. If you're listening to this and thinking, "But I'm not smart. I don't have time. I always forget words," let me tell you something. I'm not special. I just wanted it enough to fight for it every day. I made a promise to myself. 3 months, no excuses, and I kept it. You can too.